Okay, guys, just as I promised, we're going to go back over everything from where we started. So I left you off by yourselves to figure out the warm-up. So the warm-up you should have got for your answer is from atmosphere to land plants. So the only place the atmosphere can go to is the atmosphere. I'm going to click reset really quick. So to show you what's in blue. So in blue over here is the rocks, the land plants, and the ocean. Okay? So that's what you should have on there. Land plants, ocean, and rocks. So number 2, it says click on land plants. So we're going to click on land plants. And it says read the description. That I read their description to you. It says down here, I'll read it again. In the process of photosynthesis, plants use the energy of the sun from glucose and oxygen from carbon. The glucose is used for energy to build plant tissue, and most of the oxygen is released, okay? So what was this big word right there? That's the answer, right? So the plants do photosynthesis, okay? So now number 3, it says select land animals. I'm going to select the land animals. Land animals, how did we get from land animals, from land plants to land animals? They consume the plants. And then from plants back up to the atmosphere and the process of cellular respiration. Okay, so that's that one there. Now I'm on the back side. I'm going to follow directions where it says get ready to reset. So we have the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, and the geosphere. So my carbon pathways that I did, I said atmosphere to land plants to forest fire, back to atmosphere. So that's how I was able to pull into each sphere. So I just went from atmosphere to the biosphere, stayed in the biosphere, and went back to the atmosphere. I'm going to reset again because you guys should already have that information written down. Number 2, it says click reset, which we did. Use the gizmo to get from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere to the biosphere to the geosphere, okay? So I'm going to follow the directions. So from atmosphere here to land plants, because it says, no, not to land plants, because this is hydrospheres, because the hydrosphere is the water. So I'm going to click the ocean, and then I'm going to write this word here down, oceanic, CO2. Make sure you have that in that little box. So what did it do? Carbon dioxide dissolved in cold ocean surface waters. The colder the water, the more CO2 can be dissolved. The amount of dissolved CO2 is contained in the deep ocean. So that's kind of cool. So the biosphere, so marine plants. So I'm going to click on marine plants because that's part of the biosphere. That biosphere is anything that's living. So in that little box, you're going to write marine plants or the word algae, this little word right here. You know, it's one of my favorite little words. So from ocean to algae in the process of photosynthesis. Now you want to make sure that you say photosynthesis. Okay? And then from the biosphere to the geosphere. And the only thing we have left is sediment. So sediments. Okay, so we went from algae to sediments. What happened there? Uneaten plants and algae drift down to the ocean floor and become part of the marine sediment. Large amounts of carbon are stored in sediments. Okay, so that's what you need to write. You need to write the word sediment, and you need to make this not so wordy. So I would say algae or plant/algae drift down to the ocean floor and become marine sediment, which we know is beach sand. So I'm going to click reset. I'm now on activity A, continue from previous page, number 3, where it says explore. Use the gizmo to create 3 or more carbon pathways. So I'm going to show you the first one that I made. So my path 1, if you would like to steal it, you may steal it or borrow it. I said from the atmosphere to the geosphere, which is here, with rocks. From the geosphere to the hydrosphere, which is water. Back to the geosphere, which is our shells. Back to the geosphere, which is our limestone. And then I said over to the cement plant, and then back to the atmosphere. So that's what my first one looked like, and you guys should have paths 2 and 3 done on your own. So here it is, just real quick. So yours should read A, G, H, G, G, P, A. If you're looking at your piece of paper, you will understand what that means. So I'm going to click reset and move on. If you need to pause at any time, please feel free to do so. So number 4 says, explain, based on the gizmo, explain how the following transitions might take place, okay? So describe at least 2 ways that carbon can get from the land plant back to the atmosphere. So I'm going to click on land plant. So from atmosphere to land plant, I am going to click on the fire. So it gets released back into the atmosphere by fire, by burning. So you can write the word burning. So it goes from atmosphere to land plants to fire, and the burning is what releases it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and look at the second way we can do this. So I am going to say land plant. So from atmosphere to land plant, and then I'm going to say to coal. From coal to power plant, and from power plant to atmosphere. So that's another way. So I said power plant. That's one of the other ways you can do that one. Or you can sit here and click on it and see where it tells you to go. So sediment. So you just find all the blue things so you can lithosphere, and lithosphere takes you to the volcano, and the volcano back. Then you can do it that way, or you can do it this way. Soil, sediment, natural gases, power plant, and atmosphere. So there's several different ways that you can do that one as well. So now it says, describe at least 2 ways that carbon can get from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere. So the atmosphere to the hydrosphere. So we're going to take it. How can carbon get from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere? So carbon can go down right here. So it tells you right there. So what would that be called? So if you're looking for rain, you were looking for other weathering that's happening here to get it here. And there's also another way that you can get it. So you can go from atmosphere to exposed rocks, and exposed rocks to there. Okay, that's another way. So it says it right here, it breaks it down, releasing into the water. Okay, so that one really wasn't as fun as the first one. So C says find 2 ways you can get from the ocean to the lithosphere. So from here to here. So we're going to click on it, and it gives us 2 options. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to click sediment and see what that does. So from sediment to lithosphere. So that's one way. So I put that in there for one of my answers. I have it from atmosphere to ocean to plants to sediments to lithosphere, and then I'm going to reset and show you the second one that I did. I said from ocean to shells to limestone to lithosphere. Okay, because everything pretty much ends up back right in this little section of our planet. Not quite everything at the moment, but yes, it will end up back into here. And this again will be another term that you guys are going to need to know. So I'm going to reset my gizmo. It says describe at least 2 ways that carbon can get from seashells to the atmosphere. So how are we going to get seashells back to the atmosphere? So first we need to get to the sea. Actually, let's do this one the fun way, as I didn't do it this way the first time. So I can go exposed rocks to the ocean, to the seashells, to the only thing that's lit up is limestone. And from limestone, I'm going to say cement plant. And from the cement plant, I'm going to say atmosphere. Oh, wait, I actually did that. Huh. All right, and now I'm going to, I went the long way around though. So I'm going to clear out that. I'm going to say ocean, seashells, limestone, lithosphere, then I'm going to say volcano, and then I'm going to say atmosphere. So that's the other way you can do that one. That's how it would look. And then now you should be on activity B, human activities. First thing it says for us to do is click reset. So we're talking about fossil fuels, and if you watched the video before this, you already know what sentence you should have underlined. So we're going to jump straight into this, and it says using the gizmo, this little guy here, determine how coal and this one here, petroleum, which is oil, are formed. Describe the steps required. Okay, so I made sure that my steps sounded scientific. So I said from the atmosphere to photosynthesis. From photosynthesis to compression, because you have to compress some things. And from compression to atmosphere, how did we do this? From here to the power plant to the CO2 in the sky. That was how I did it for coal. Okay, so you see the where it says coal, so I give you the steps on how we get coal back into the atmosphere. Now I'm going to reset. I'm going to wait a second, let you get that in. Now I'm going to reset, and now we're going to do for petroleum. So we're going to go from the atmosphere to the ocean, from the ocean to the algae, from the algae to the sediment. To the sediment, right here he is. You're just going to click right on him. To the petroleum, and then look, see my car? I'm going to click my car, and then now I'm going to click there. So I'm going to give you a second to get that down. So this one here, it says, how is the formation of natural gas related to the formation of coal? Okay. So that one again is a you question. You need to let me know. Okay, and now number 3 says describe fossil fuels are used in many ways using the gizmo, which is this little gadget right here. Using the gizmo, describe the main use for each fossil fuel. So we went through and we're going to click on each fossil fuel. So I'm going to start with land plants to coal. So what is coal used for? So I'm going to click this power plant to see what it says. So I clicked from coal to power plant. Coal is used in power plants to generate electricity. So you can say used in power plants for electricity. I'm going to click reset. And then it says petroleum, which is right here in our ocean. So from ocean to marine plants to sediment, from sediment to petroleum. And petroleum, I'm going to click my car because I need to know how it gets to my car. So petroleum is called crude oil. Crude oil is refined into gasoline. So you can say refined into gasoline. So that's what they do. They make it into gas for your car. Okay, and then that's how it gets back, the emissions get back into the atmosphere. Now, it says in each case, what is the end product of the burning fossil fuel? Where does it go? Well, we already know it goes in the atmosphere, so you just write in there, it goes to atmosphere, and it says it all becomes CO2, because that's how it's burned. Now, you're on the next part, activity B, continued from previous page 4, explore. Okay, so I'm going to reset as the instructions tell me to. Another major contribute to the atmospheric carbon dioxide is our little cement plant, this little guy over here. Using the gizmo, find the carbon atom path from the atmosphere to this plant. One of its characteristics is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Exposed Rocks, Ocean, from the ocean to the seashells, from the limestone, and limestone to the CO, so the cement plant back to the atmosphere. So I wrote mine really short. So I put A for atmosphere, ER for exposed rocks, O for ocean, LS for limestone, CP for cement plant, And of course, A for atmosphere. So that's one way it can get there. But if you want to see if it gets there any other way, you can click ocean, algae, sediment. Let's see, lithosphere. See, it doesn't really do it that way either. Let's try ocean. And I'm going to say this guy, then marine animals. That just settles you back down to sediment. So you have to go through those rocks. You have got to go through the coral. So from ocean to coral, and it takes you straight to limestone because you need limestone to get to the cement plant. Okay, so because it says, how is carbon dioxide produced in the cement plant? So how is the carbon dioxide produced in the cement plant? So it says from limestone to cement. Limestone is the main ingredient in cement, one of the first most consumed substances on Earth. So I'm going to click up here in atmosphere. So the cement plant, the limestone is heated, producing a calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. The calcium oxide is used to make cement. So the limestone is heated and it produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's one way. All right, so number 5, analyze. So it says click the reset, which we already did. Then navigate land animals. Select the atmospheric CO4. So we need to get to where we need to get. So from atmospheric here, we can click on plants, then animals, then we need to get here. So how did we do that? Look, oh, stinky. So there it is. And I just summed it up and I said cow farts. But if you want to put the guts of many grazing animals bacteria break down undigested materials and produce methane gas, CH4. The same gas is produced by humans when they break wind. Okay? Or you can just write down cow farts. I will take cow farts. Letter B, on number 5, letter B, humans raise large amounts of cattle for their food. How will these herds of cows affect the Earth's atmosphere? So we already know cows have to eat the plants. The plants did photosynthesis, so the cows are going to do cellular respiration and create CO2, and cows also create methane gas. All right, so cows make CH4 and CO2. That's how they affect our atmosphere up here. You would never think a cow would affect all of this, but every little thing you do, even when you do this down here, you yourself break wind, you're putting it up there in the atmosphere. All right, so number 6, analyze this. It says, in many tropical rainforests, people clear the land by cutting down trees and burning them. After a few years, the soil runs out of nutrients and can no longer be farmed. How does this practice of slash and burn agriculture affect the Earth's atmosphere? So do you remember the very first triangle I made from atmosphere to land plants to forest fires? Right here. And then we're going to click here. So it says forest fires. Burning wood produces carbon dioxide gas. Forest fires and burning of wood for fuel are a major source of atmospheric carbon dioxide. So that whole sentence right there, you have that written down perfect. So burning wood produces CO2 gas that is released back into the atmosphere. And then number 7, like I said, that is a draw your own conclusion for that. And that, guys, we are all finished. You guys have been amazing as always. And again, I thank you for showing up to my class.